Hello and happy Sunday, everybody. It is Sunday, and that means it is time for Sunday screening with me, Nina Soden, the redheaded author. And today we are talking about one of my favorite films, Almost Famous. It was a 2000 release directed by Crowe, written by Crowe as well. This film was fantastic. All right, so it stars Billy Crudup, Kate Hudson, I love her, Frances McDormand, Jason Lee, Zooey Deschanel, Jimmy Fallon, and Seymour Hoffman, and so many other amazing actors. The lineup was phenomenal. All right, it's a comedy, drama, adventure, and it runs about 122 minutes long. I gave this one an overall 5-star rating, and I gave it 5 stars for everything. So the writing, the story, the cinematography, the acting, all of it got 5 stars from me because I thought overall this one was phenomenal. So let's jump right in and talk about this one. This is the IMDb storyline. The early 1970s. William Miller is 15 years old and an aspiring rock journalist. He gets a job writing for Rolling Stone magazine. His first assignment, tour with the band Stillwater and write about the experience. Miller will get to see what goes on behind the scenes in a famous band, including the moments when things fall apart. Moreover, for him, it will be a period of new experience and finding himself. Yeah, that about sums it up. That's pretty much what this film was about. All right, here's my 2 cents. Again, let me start by saying that I have seen this film many times, at least a dozen times. Whenever it's on, I will stop and watch it if I see it. It is one of my all-time favorite films. It is one of the most thoughtful, thought-provoking, emotional journeys that you can experience in a film. When the movie was over, I felt like I had been on a roller coaster of emotions. I was connected to the characters. I was connected to their story. I was invested in their journey. And I was sad to see it end. That to me is a really good sign of a good film. All right, writing and story. Again, like I said, I gave it 5 stars across the board. Writing and story. Almost Famous takes place in the year 1973. And it's about William Miller, this 15-year-old boy who is an aspiring rock journalist, and he is going to travel across the country with the band Stillwater. He's been hired to write a feature article for Rolling Stones, and he comes across issue after issue after issue trying to interview the band members. And it's insane, the things that they put him through, that he eventually has to overcome. So he forms this deep bond with the band, and not only with the band, but also with the Band-Aids. These are kind of not the groupies, they will tell you, but these are the women that follow the band, not for the band members, but for the music. So they follow the band everywhere they go on tour. And these Band-Aids are led by Penny Lane, who was played by Kate Hudson. So William and Penny Lane also form a tight bond because of their connection with the band. So that's the story in short. And I felt that Cameron Crowe did a phenomenal job with this one. Not only was the story really well developed, but the dialogue was awesome and true and real and rich, and it furthered the story with every line. All right, now let's talk about characters. I gave the characters 5 stars. The character development is usually something that I talk about when reviewing books, more so than reviewing movies. But this film really shows you the truth behind the characters. The lives of these characters are so well developed that you feel like you have known them for years. You're so invested in their journey because they are so invested in their present moment. And that's something that I don't think we get very often. Now, I talk about mindfulness all the time, but I think that in today's day and age, we just don't dive deep into our present moment the way that these characters did. And I thought that that was just amazing. I really enjoyed seeing these characters living this amazing rock star life. They experienced highs and lows, but they seem to take it more in stride than we do today, as opposed to getting overwhelmed and stressed like so many people do today. They just kind of rode the wave and they just kind of went with the flow, and it was pretty amazing. They dealt with conflict and stress in a much better way, or maybe not, if not better, but just in a much more relaxed way than we do. Everything just seemed simpler back in 1973. Okay, let's talk about cinematography now. Again, 5 stars. This film is so much fun to watch. And it's not just the acting, and it's not just the writing, it is the camera angles and the lighting. They have a lot to do with how well the scenes come across and how realistic it is and how much you just dive into it. One scene that really defines this film for me is when they're all on the bus and they just start singing Tiny Dancer by Elton John. The music starts playing and they just all get into it, and it is just a pivotal moment for this scene. And the way the camera moves from character to character is beautiful. That is probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. Okay, now let's talk about acting. I have alluded to the fact that, again, 5 stars, the acting was phenomenal. It's amazing. So, whenever you're watching extremely well-known, recognizable stars on screen, it can be hard to lose yourself and suspend your disbelief. However, with this movie being packed with amazing actors that we all know and love, there wasn't a single moment that actor recognition pulled me out of the film, pulled me out of just being fully invested in these characters and this script. Each of the actors took on their role beautifully and became their characters for the 122 minutes of this film, and it was utterly believable and profoundly realistic watching it. I loved it. All right, I do have some favorite quotes for this one, like I always do. There are 2 of them. The first one is Russell Hammond, and he says, "From here on out, I am only interested in what is real. Real people, real feelings, that's it. That's all I'm interested in." So this is a moment where his character is kind of at a turning point and is deciding what he really wants in life. And it's just a great realization, a opening of doors or an awakening for Russell Hammond's character. All right, the second one is Penny Lane. Remember, she is kind of like the head band-aid that follows around the band. And she says, "I always tell the girls, never take it seriously. If you never take it seriously, you never get hurt. You never get hurt, you always have fun. And if you ever get lonely, just go to the record store and visit your friends." All right, now the reason I love this one so much is completely not having to do with the movie, but having to do with what she says at the very end. If you ever get lonely, just go to the record store and visit your friends. Now, I love music, but I am not as passionate about music as I am about books. So as an author, I love the idea of just going to a bookstore and visiting my friends, those characters, those old books that I have loved and read a million times. And I think that how Penny Lane feels about music and about the artists and the songs, I feel the same way about books and the characters in the books. So I think that as an author, I truly can relate to that. All right, to sum it up, here it is. Overall, I loved this film. It is an amazing story about love and life and the pursuit of happiness, the American dream. The cast is stock full of phenomenal actors with the acting chops to pull off the story in a realistic, heart-twisting way. The soundtrack captures the 70s perfectly and makes you feel like you are really there. Then, to top it all off, the cinematography is beautiful. It pulls you in and it paints a beautiful picture that even if seen in still form, you'd still be able to feel like you were there. You'd still be able to feel the emotions of the actors, and you'd still be able to feel like this is real life, not just some made-up Hollywood studio production. There was nothing that I didn't like in this film. Absolutely nothing. Start to finish, it was phenomenal. So I'm gonna ask you this. Have you seen Almost Famous yet? If you have, comment below and let me know what you thought of it. If you haven't, why not? You need to go and watch it today. All right, that is Sunday Screening with me, Nina Soden, the redheaded author. Do me a favor, if you liked what you saw, click like below and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click on that little bell below so that you're notified every time I post a video. Until next time, enjoy the movies.